If you've been in your recovery journey for anxiety and you've been going along and practicing living your life despite the anxiety being there, and you've been having little periods of feeling better, but you might still be getting down on yourself or annoyed that you're still experiencing that first initial feeling of fear and panic. Fear not, as this is a normal part of the process and it isn't a sign that you are failing or doing it wrong. The likelihood is that you've been feeling anxious for a while. Anxiety disorders don't happen overnight. It's normally after a period of stress that we start to develop symptoms. Then we start to hate the symptoms and panic at them and try to make them go away. This is how we end up in the cycle to begin with that feels really hard to break out of. So your default state is to be anxious. So it's only natural that even in recovery, you will get that first initial feeling of fear and panic despite practicing leaving it alone. Please remember that that first feeling of fear is automatic and it can't be helped. What's really important is that we focus on what we do after that feeling arises. This is where the rewiring of the brain takes place. The more we teach our brain or our threat response that first feeling of fear, whilst being uncomfortable and not nice, granted, it's not dangerous, and we carry on doing what a non-anxious version of ourselves would do in that situation, the more our brain or our threat response gets the message that this feeling isn't dangerous. The more we practice with this over time and managing our response to the first fear, the less intense that first fear gets. We can't control the first fear. It's an automatic reaction. What we do have control over is what we do in response to it. Instead of focusing all your efforts and your energy onto trying to get rid of and reduce that first fear, which I understand is very, very tempting because it's not nice. What we need to do is try and view this as an opportunity to practice with our principles of recovery. We don't have any control over that first fear for now. And the more we try and manage it and get rid of it, the more it's going to stick around and the more we're going to signal to our anxious response that feeling is dangerous when it's uncomfortable, but it's not dangerous. So we need to use that first fear as an opportunity to practice with not adding secondary fear to it and focus on working on our reaction to it. Remember that the first fear and the feelings of panic are automatic. They're an automatic response. The bravery and the courage to leave it alone and do what non-anxious you would do despite the first fear being there, that's a decision that we need to practice getting better at making.